my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my end of the year TBR. Because the year is almost over and I am 14 books behind on my reading goal with only a month and a week left, which I'm not really sure when that happened. I was doing pretty good at least one point in time, but this is where we're at now. And I do suspect that a lot of my reading goal will be achieved through manga. But other than manga, there is the 10 before the end trend, and then there is this video where we will be doing 3 because I am also in a reading slump right now, and although I would love to do 10, things are rough. It's just not going to be achievable for me, I know that. But I basically went through my TBRs throughout the year and picked a top 3 of what was left, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. And that's not to say that the others will not be read or that these even necessarily will, but these are what I am aiming for and what I am aiming to prioritize as of this moment. So with that, I will have the content warnings I can find linked down below in the description, along with links to some resources, and let's go ahead and get into it. And we are going to start off with Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse, which is the third and final book of the Between Earth and Sky trilogy that begins with Black Sun. And Black Sun is inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas. It takes place in a city called Tova around the time of the winter solstice, which is usually a time for celebration and renewal. Or it would be, but the solstice this year is around the same time as a solar eclipse, which according to the Sun Priest signifies an unbalancing of the world. At the same time, a ship begins its adventure towards Tova, carrying a seemingly harmless passenger, but the captain does have her suspicions of him. So this is one that I've technically already started. It's from my summer TBR. I brought it to the beach with me around like early mid-September and got 32 whole pages into it, so it's either continue it now or reread later. And I would very much prefer to read it now, since I was getting really invested and immersed into the series again while I was there. And then my need to read this book during the summer took over and I just haven't gone back to it. But we will be fighting that feeling with everything that we have. Because Black Sun was also a book that really helped me through a reading slump, and I was kind of feeling similar back then when I read that book as I am right now when I'm trying to read this one. And in a lot of ways, Black Sun was one of the books that really helped save my love of reading that year, and I am kind of hoping Mirrored Heavens has a similar effect on me and just gives me the strength to reach my reading goal, because based on the first few chapters, I really think it could. Next up, we have Catabasis by R.F. Kong, and this follows our main character who has only ever had one goal, and that goal is to become one of the brightest minds in the magic field. And to become that person, she has sacrificed everything to work with a professor at Cambridge who is considered to be the greatest magician in the world. However, this professor dies in an accident that could potentially be our main character's fault, and she has to go to hell to get him back, as his recommendation could hold her whole future in his hands. So there's still like a pretty decent sized chunk of fall left, but otherwise my fall TBR, it's not going well. I am currently reading one of them. I do really want to read the other one before fall ends, but this is the one that I do think is going to fit into the late fall, early winter season the best. I gave Babel, which is also by this author, 5 stars. I also just like its sprayed edges that calls to me, and I still feel like An Adventure to Hell right now sounds really fun. I don't know, I feel like I've heard a lot about this book. I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel about it. Despite all of the hype that I've heard and also otherwise, I do feel like I am going into this book with an open mind and a blank slate. For whatever it is and for whatever it wants to give me, I do think it is going to be a good time. And finally, we have If Tomorrow Doesn't Come by Jen St. Jude. This follows our main character who has a lot of secrets and undiagnosed clinical depression. On the day that she plans to end it all, the world discovers that it only has 9 days before an asteroid destroys them all. So our main character decides to try her best to make it through the 9 days as to not cause her family or her best friend any additional pain. And with the time that she has left, she finds herself willing to do anything to save the ones that she loves and also herself. This is the final book from my 2025 TBR that I need to read. Then that will be done, it will be complete, I will be happy and feel successful. And I do think that this is the one that I specifically saved for around this time of year. I might have said fall in the past, I can't really remember, but deep down, I think I always suspected I would be reading this in the winter, or I said winter in the past thinking like January, and now here we are. TBR, that could also be possible. But either way, I really want to finish that TBR. This is one that I've always suspected is going to really destroy me emotionally and make me cry, which I do in fact want to happen. And based on the description, I think it's fully capable of that. It sounds angsty and emotional, and like something that I could find myself getting really attached to very easily. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!